not reading? The liberated man has no personal hopes. We'll read sentence by sentence. He does not seize on things as his personal possessions. He receives what the divine will brings him, covets nothing, is jealous of none. What comes to him, he takes without repulsion and without attachment. What goes from him, he allows to depart into the whirl of things without repining or grief or sense of loss. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, one sentence. We'll go to each one. Now, the question arises, what is and who is a liberated man? The liberated man is one whose consciousness is not now identified with the body-mind life, and consciousness has gone out into the second level of the spiritual planes of consciousness. He is seated on the summit and is looking down at the world movement. Everything is going on. He himself is in an immutable, static condition. The consciousness is not moving at all. It's absolutely silent. When we look at our own mind, we see that there is no silence, there is constant movement in the mind. But when you are in the Brahmic consciousness, the self, the witness self, you are absolutely static. So, if he is static, okay, there can be no hope, because hope is a movement. Okay, so there is no hope and nothing at all. Okay? He covets nothing. Covets nothing means also he desires nothing, because desire also is a movement of the mind and the heart and the vital also. So that also is not there. So the liberated man has no personal hopes. Okay, but simply use the word personal hope. Okay, because there may be an aspiration for something higher. So that would not be, personal hopes at a lower level are not there. Okay? He does not seize on things as his personal possessions. The sense of possession also goes away absolutely, because total cut off from the physical world. That's why it's called the transcendent consciousness. You are transcended the world and you have transcended your own body-mind life, and you are in the second level of the spiritual planes of consciousness. Nothing is touching you. He receives what the divine will brings him. This is when he is open to the divine. Okay? He receives what the divine will brings him, covets nothing, desires nothing, and wants nothing. Okay? He is jealous of none. All these coveting and jealousy and all that are mutable feelings of the body-mind life. So therefore, none of these things are there in his consciousness. Okay? What comes to him, he takes without repulsion and without attachment. Absolutely nothing from the physical world comes to him. Okay, so that's what he's saying. Is the voice breaking?
No, Rangada.
Okay, fine. Then I'm keeping the camera on. Okay. Because earlier also we used to have the camera on and nothing was happening. So sometimes, as Archanaji was saying, it is because of the internet fluctuation. That's why. All right, I go to the next one. What comes to him, he takes without repulsion and without attachment. Neither pleasure nor pain, nothing. He just receives calmly, quietly. Okay? What goes from him, he allows to depart into the world of things. Now that's very clearly, the world of things is the movement in the physical world. So whatever is coming to him from there and whatever is going away from him at the body-mind life level, because he is not initiating any action. Okay. So what goes from him, nothing is going from him, but sometimes if the divine is working through him, the divine is working through him, that goes through him. So he allows to depart into the world of things without repining or grief or sense of loss. Okay? Nothing, all these things, he becomes a perfect instrument of the divine, and the divine is pouring all his will into the individual consciousness, and through that body-mind life, it is working in the world. But remember that your body-mind life is imperfect. So the divine action in the world through you will also be to that extent proportionally imperfect. That's the nature of things. But the more your body-mind life is pure, the less will be the loss of the divine will. It will be more accurately pictured in the world.
Rangana,
Yes.
one question.
Yes.
So to make your body, mind, and life purer, then you have to act, right? Or it the
That's
divine
right.
who is to act
Yeah,
and
that's right.
make it pure.
That's right. So, Sarva is giving us the picture of the, but to a certain extent, purity. Listen, the purity could have come from previous lives also, no? It's not that you are starting from absolutely impure, 100% impurity. It is not that. Because your past lives may have done a lot of sadhana and a lot of progress. So you start in this life not with 100% impurity. Some people may be very pure. Some people may be just a little bit of correction needs to be made. Okay, there is imperfection in the physical world. There is no doubt, but depends on the amount. Okay, so what is going through very often the divine will does work through you, and you may be unconscious of it also. That also is possible. But what Pallavi asked in theory is exactly what we discussed last time. You don't reject the physical world, you reject only the imperfections of the physical world in the interior yoga. Okay? The others, the other yogas, they don't bother about the body mind life at all. Okay? So, this is the, so what is going out from him with the divine will going through him, he does not mind at all what is happening. Okay? He is absolutely calm and quiet. His heart and self are under perfect control. His heart and self. The heart is at the lower level and the self is at the higher level, are under perfect control. They are free from reaction and passion. The reaction and passion may happen at the lower level, but he is absolutely free from there. Even the heart is a, so obviously we are speaking here of someone who is quite pure already. Okay? So, otherwise the divine will cannot work through him. Srimli is saying the liberated man. Okay? Liberated man depend there also there are so many degrees. Okay? You may be liberated for a very short while, you may be liberated for a fairly long time, you may be liberated permanently. And even there in the physical, in the spiritual planes, there are 4 levels. Huh? Remember that. Higher mind, elephant mind, intuitive mind, over mind. So it depends there also at which level you are. The higher you are, your consciousness is, the more perfect an instrument of the divine you are. You can never be 100% pure instrument of the divine because there is always some amount of darkness and dirt below, down, in the lower level. That is inevitable because that's the nature of the physical world. Darkness and density. Darkness and density. His heart and self are under perfect control. They are free from reaction and passion. They make no turbulent response to the touches of outward things. His action is indeed a purely physical action. Shariram kevalam karma. The consciousness is absolutely clear and he is not using his consciousness for any action. But the action that is taking place in the body-mind life, it's purely a mechanical action. Shariram kevalam karma. So, like a machine, it is working. So the question of purity and impurity really does not arise because whatever is coming from nature is just executing. Okay, so they are free from. His action is indeed a purely physical action. Shariram kevalam karma. For all else comes from above, is not generated on the human plane. It is only a reflection of the will, knowledge, joy of the divine. So, when you are in that spiritual plane of consciousness,
Disturbance.
pardon?
Some disturbance. Is it on the road or in your
I didn't follow, Palvi.
There is some disturbance in the background.
Yes, yes. It's in the road. There is some
Uh-huh.
advertisement going on. Now it is gone away.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That I'm unfortunately my windows are very large and all the sounds of the street come through. Even the barking of the dogs in the middle of the night. So I can do nothing about it. Maybe I should stop talking then. Anyway, so let's continue. Okay. For his action is indeed purely a physical action, like a machine. Okay, your body, mind, life is working like a machine. Even your mind, it's a machine. Remember that. Now that's a very interesting subject, and I will just touch upon it a little bit because the world is now going through a fantastic period. The artificial intelligence. Okay, and people are getting frightened. Okay, I'll discuss that as soon as I finish this sentence. Okay, it's very interesting. We have to see what it is. Now, his action is indeed a purely physical action. Shariram kevalam karma. For all else comes from above is not generated on the human plane because you have become absolutely silent. Your consciousness is withdrawn, and so there is no willing and no decision making at all. And the body mind life is working like a machine. A machine obeys only what it has been told to do. Okay? And who is telling the body mind life to do? Nature. Nature is making it act. And it is just following nature blindly, mechanically, unconsciously. Okay? For all else comes from above is not generated in the human plane, it is only a reflection of the will, knowledge, joy of the divine Purushottama. Therefore, he does not, by stress on doing and its objects, bring about in his mind and heart any of those reactions which we call passion and sin. Okay? That completes the sentence. So, he's saying, naturally, if there is no movement at all, how can passion and sin come? They can't originate from there. Okay. So, now, this we have just now seen the sentence which says, Shariram Kevalam Karma. Now, when you go to the higher level of consciousness, you realize something fantastic. You realize that you are not the doer at all. Whatever you were doing previously, you thought that you were thinking, you thought that you are emoting and you are doing actions. Now you realize that you're not doing that at all. Now, with the discovery of the artificial intelligence, something fantastic has happened. They have realized that what man can do, okay, write an essay, write a poem, okay, and write this and that is nothing but mechanical. Even a computer can do it. Now, is that not a fantastic spiritual discovery? People are getting frightened because they don't understand what's happening. So actually, when they awake to the reality of the artificial intelligence, they will see that what you think is not artificial, you think that you are thinking it's not artificial. It is very full of consciousness. Okay, you'll feel like that, but you realize that it is not so. So, in other words, now you will be free to do with your consciousness things which you were being asked to do earlier. Okay, so it's a very, you have to realize that this is really the truth of even this human being. That his body, mind, life is just a machine. It's a fantastic discovery, but they are not saying it in this light. But they have to see it exactly in this light. And we have made very interesting experiments. Those who have used artificial intelligence will know. I think there are so many. We have got 3 doctors on the panel. Okay, there is Archana Di, there is Yasmin, and there is also Kiran. All of them are doctors. So I don't know if you have tried an experiment to feed the symptoms of a person into the artificial intelligence chat GTP and see what they tell you. Okay, it will be very interesting for you to do that and see whether the diagnosis can come out because sometimes your knowledge may not be as vast as that of the computer because computer everything is being fed in. Okay, and so it has access to all the knowledge that is there in the humanity. An individual doctor may not have that capacity. So you may, it's possible that you will get a better diagnosis from the chat GTP. We have tried that in with poetry. Okay, Narad and I, we did that. Narad sent it, and Ravi also did that. Okay, he said something about karma yoga. Okay, he asked a question, and the answer came through because it is being accessing all the information which is there, all the 40 books of ceremonials, it is there on the net. So it is accessing all that and comes to an immediate decision. So what is absolutely unbelievable. And then they wrote a poem and said, give an appreciation of this poem. And it gave a fantastic appreciation. Then when it was asked a second time, give a second opinion. Okay, there was a slight variation. So this is exactly what we discovered. Shariram kevalam karma. Okay? Science has discovered a spiritual truth of which they are getting frightened. It's so interesting that what man is doing at the physical level is absolutely nothing but machine. Your mind is a machine. Your body is a machine. Your vital is a machine. Nothing more than a machine. It is just obeying nature. Just as nature is making the plant grow, the plant is not protesting, nor is the plant saying that I am growing, because it doesn't have an ego. But you think that you are thinking, you are emoting, you are doing because you have an ego. But the moment your consciousness goes out to the self, to the Brahmic consciousness, the ego disappears. And as soon as the ego disappears, that identification with body, mind, life disappears, and you realize that you are never the doer, but nature is the doer, and doing all these things mechanically. Okay? So it's a very interesting. Yeah.
In artificial intelligence, I mean, human input is there, right? Then only the computer can come out with something. Otherwise,
Yes.
if the human input is not there, then nothing will happen.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the same truth. Huh? It is the humans who have packed all the information into the computer, and it is giving a reaction. Okay.
Yes.
They have tried that even with chess. Okay. They feed all the possible combinations and all that into the computer, and a very fast computer. It must be able to access all this information in seconds. And the faster the computer, the more it will be able to react immediately. And even the world champion could not defeat. Okay, it was called Deep Blue or something like that. I've forgotten. It was Kasparov, the Russian champion. He couldn't defeat the machine because it has access to all the information that you have fed into it. Okay? But this is all physical information only. The artificial intelligence will never be able to go beyond the data that you have fed into it.
Yes.
Okay? Whereas your consciousness has access to higher planes of consciousness where the information has to be found out. It is there, but you have to find out. Not with machines. You can't do that. Okay? It's interesting. So anyway, you think about what I've said. It's very interesting. Okay. And we'll go to the people are getting frightened. They are thinking that artificial intelligence is one day start eliminating human beings. Okay.
May I say something?
Yes, go ahead.
When technology is the master, disaster comes faster. If you totally depend on technology for everything,
Yes.
and when technology fails, your ability and capacity is now reduced. For example, the calculator.
Exactly.
Previously, there was no calculator, so we used to have mental maths and decide.
Correct.
Now, the ability of mental mathematics is gone because everybody just relies on the computer.
Yes.
Now, for example, when we do cataract surgery, we use the phaco machine. Now, we are totally dependent on the working of that phaco machine.
Yes.
If that machine for any reason stops, okay?
Yes.
And you don't have another machine. Now you have lost the ability to go and do a cataract surgery without that phaco machine.
Okay.
And you are in a big dilemma and it is a disaster.
Okay.
So the more we depend on technology and machines, the less our ability goes. Now, we as doctors are very irritated when people come with this Google diagnosis. And we know what the problem is, but they will now give you 20 different diagnoses and tell you can now eliminate one, and come to the final one.
Yes.
So it is like the computer deciding for you that who is in love with whom and who should marry.
Okay.
It doesn't have that consciousness.
That's right. That's what I'm
It
saying.
doesn't have that consciousness. So when technology is the master, disaster comes faster.
But what you are saying is okay, but there is a comparison with a human being also, that also is possible. You said about the machine breaking down and not functioning properly. Now that also can happen in a human being. His knowledge of what is to be done in a case of a surgeon, okay, after a surgery, may not also work. That's why the doctors sometimes fail. Okay. So that is exactly the reason. Same thing. When the machine breaks down, the result is not good at all. Okay. But I'll give you one thing I'll say. When man realizes that all these things that he is doing in the physical world, he is free from it, does he not automatically think that now I have other fields, and that should push him towards a more moral life and a more spiritual life? Because he is not wasting time on all these things. That's exactly what Mother tried to do. She said that I want to free human beings from the need of earning their living so that they can concentrate on the real purpose of life, that is to find the divine. And she tried to do that experiment in the ashram. So that's exactly what now Gita is doing. It is ridding the human being, it is getting rid of the human being's troubles at the physical level. Okay, failure may be there because also we also are failing. Is nothing. We don't succeed all the time. And just when you said that you know exactly what to do, but do you really honestly think that you know exactly what to do in every case? No.
No, precisely not. But
Exactly.
all these patients with Google diagnosis, they make your life miserable. So many doctors write saying, okay, if you come up with Google diagnosis, we are going to charge you double. Yeah. Then they will go to Google and see what is the method of surgery and how do you operate. And, I mean, it's little knowledge is a dangerous thing.
Yes. That's right.
Oh,
That's what.
Rangada,
And
Yes.
that Shakuntala Devi, who was faster than the computer.
Yeah.
Because she could go to the intuitive mind and she immediately got the answer there. The computer has to compute and calculate, but for her, the answer was just there.
That computer could be upgraded. Okay? That computer can be upgraded.
I know that, but if you go to the intuitive mind, where everything is there, much more than what human beings have fed the computer.
Just 1 minute. When you go to you have access to the intuitive mind, do you have full access? Sriranga said very clearly, you don't have full access. Okay? It depends at which level you are. So there also, even intuition can often, intuition is coming into your mind, but your mind, life, body is imperfect. Even at the spiritual level, it is imperfect. So your interpretation of the intuition depends on the purity of your.
And it depends on your receptivity, because Mother has said that Bach and Beethoven, both of them, used to go to a very high level. But Bach could bring down things much better and he was more receptive than Beethoven.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It depends on the individual.
It all depends on our receptivity, how conscious we are there. But I have not even gone to the higher mind, so I cannot opine anything.
No, so that's exactly what I'm saying. Even at the higher mind level, the receptivity. And what is the receptivity? Nothing but your amount of purity that you have in the being. That's all. Okay. Anyway, that was just an interesting remark, because the world is absolutely jolted by this discovery of the chat GTP. So you think about it, it's a very interesting subject, but we'll now continue with essay on the Gita. But Pallavi was saying something.
I was saying that is it not premature? Like you said, Dusman had arranged everything so that human beings, the people here, could aspire and think only of yoga, but it was not happening. Like human nature is not ready for that thing, no? In that sense, unless you change the nature, you are not ready for any other aspiration or anything.
The human being is not the computer. The human being is mind, life, body plus soul. Whereas the machine is only mind, life, body. Machine is only a mind, life, body, but the soul is not there. So that should encourage you to go to a spiritual level of consciousness. Let's not waste time washing clothes and doing all these things. Let the machines do that. So now I am free for getting the real purpose of my existence in the physical world. So it should push you, and one day it is bound to happen.
It's not happening at present.
No, naturally not. It takes a long time. You think even yoga becomes fruitful in 5 years or 6 years? It takes lives and lives. So it's an interesting thing, but the development is fantastic. It's a turning point in human history. It is possible now for everybody to think along those lines, that those possibilities there. Okay. So anyway, let's get back to her. Enough for that. You can think about it. It's a very interesting subject. Okay.
Rangada, just one comment.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, without internet, many Korean students who love to study abroad, their dream is impossible to become true, actually. So internet really helps the people, who want to experience the other cultures. And even in India, without internet, I think I cannot. I mean, I couldn't meet Shri Aurobindo.
Yes, but there are too many pros and cons against it. Without internet, we can't progress. But with internet, we have access to so many things which are not, going to help us in growth.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Everything has its pros and cons, so we have to decide which part we want to go and where we have to stop ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to us. Therefore, I'm reading the next sentence. I got going because of the Shariram Kevalam Karma. Shariram Kevalam Karma is a machine. Okay. So, therefore, he does not, by stress on doing and its objects, bring about in his mind and heart any of those reactions which we call passion and sin. Okay. This also, if you compare, there is no passion and no sin in the machine. It is just doing what it is told to do. Okay? For sin consists not at all in the outward deed, but in an impure reaction of the personal will, mind, and heart, which accompanies it and causes it. Okay? It is the impersonal, the spiritual, the impersonal, the spiritual is always pure, a papa viddham. Okay? Papa viddham, pierced by sin. A papa viddham, not pierced by sin. And gives to all that it does its own inalienable purity. So if your mind and person, will and mind are all pure, then you will be free of sin and free of impurities. So you'll be able to do exactly that. Give to all that it does its own inalienable purity. This spiritual impersonality is the third sign of the divine worker. Okay? You must be absolutely impersonal. So that the divine will then activates, not the universal nature, but the divine will replaces the motive power, the energy in the body-mind life. So if that you go to the higher level, is a divine will that replaces you in universal nature. Universal nature is at the second level. Yeah, body-mind life is at the first level, and the divine will is at the third level, and it will be able now to access your body-mind life because you become pure. Okay. If you have not become pure, it can't come in because there is density and darkness. That's the thing. All human souls, indeed, who have attained to a certain greatness and largeness, are conscious of an impersonal force or love or will and knowledge working through them. But they are not free from egoistic reactions. There you are. See, very clearly he is saying, it's a question of how pure you are. He is saying certain greatness and largeness. Okay. In other words, there is a gradation. Are conscious of an impersonal force or love or will and knowledge. All these things are coming through you, and you know that it's not your force. You know it's not your love. You know it's not your will or knowledge which is coming through. But they are not free from egoistic reactions, sometimes violent enough of their human personality. Okay, so you have to be absolutely pure for the divine will to work through you. But since that does not happen, then the divine will also coming down through you into the body-mind life will be imperfect, depending on how perfect your body-mind life are. But this freedom, the liberated soul has attained. So this freedom it has attained. He is talking of the case where he is perfect. He has gone to the Purushottama level. For he has cast his personality into the impersonal, where it is no longer his, but it is taken up by the divine person, the Purushottama. There you are. Okay? The going to the second level of consciousness in the spiritual planes is not enough. You are much, much purer than what you were before, but still it is not perfect. And therefore there is an ego is there. Okay? The Purushottama level, yes, you have attained to the highest, who uses all finite qualities. What are the finite qualities? Those of your body, mind, life. Infinitely and freely, and is bound by none. Okay? He has become a soul and ceased to be a sum of natural qualities. Now, he ceased to be a machine. Sum of natural qualities is nothing but the machine. Okay? He has ceased to be the machine. He has gone up. So, it is coming through, and the motivator of the one who is running the machine is not universal nature anymore, but the divine will. Okay? He has become a soul and ceased to be a sum of natural qualities. Natural qualities, body, mind, life. Natural, nature, belonging to nature. And such appearance of personality as remains for the operations of nature is something unbound, large, flexible, universal. It is a free mode for the infinite. It's a living mask of the Purushottama. That happens only when you go to the Purushottama level, the third level. Otherwise, even a spiritual man is imperfect. Okay. We can go to the next para, which is about one page. Okay. Oh, they have already come to 8:35. So we can't even read it. It's we can't finish in 5 minutes this huge para. Okay, so we'll have to leave it for next time. Yeah, we spent a lot of time about the truth of the physical world. The body, mind, life is like a machine. Okay, it is just obeying what nature is telling it to do. That's it. It's a huge discovery for the Karma Yoga. When you discover that you are not the doer and nature is the doer, you are just the witness self. That's a huge discovery. And therefore the ego disappears because you think that you are doing, and that's the ego. But when you go there and you discover that you are not doing anything, then your ego fritters away and disappears. Not fully, but 90%. Depends on the individual. It can be 90%, it can be less, it can be more. But largely that, and Srinda makes a difference between ego sense and ego idea. Okay, there also there is a gradation. The ego sense all of us have, but the ego idea that I am somebody different from others, that also can be there because the individuality is there. The true individuality is also there. Okay, I think we have to stop here unless there are any questions. But, but really, it's, what is happening in the world today is absolutely mind-boggling. The change has come, and all this is happening only because the supermind is descended. It's also manifesting itself in very, 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 very special children. They are the indigo children who are absolutely unusually talented in so many things. And maybe in different fields. Somebody in poetry, somebody in something else, somebody in painting, somebody in music. 5-year-olds are nowadays playing piano like a master. Okay. The internet is full of all these things. Very interesting. Okay. So I stop here today, 2-3 minutes before time. Did the voice break? I want to know.
No, Rangan.
No,
No, Ranga.
the voice is clear.
There were 2 days, I think, that last week there was some internet problem because we were also having problems with the net. So probably that was yeah, with the net connection.
Okay. All right. So,
Merci beaucoup.
Merci,
au revoir.
Thank you, Rangana.
Thank you, Rangana.
Okay.
Thank you, Dada.